start and was sent out. And, in turn for him, it wasn't really fair. So now he's going to get an opportunity and get a start here against the Rays, and he's never faced them before.
His first pitch to B.J. Upton is in there for a called strike. .68 degrees, our game time temperature, and Upton slapped one right past Jackson into center field.
Let's take a look at the Indians defense, brought to you by the Indians Team Shop at Summit Mall in Fairlawn. It's DeRosa in left, Francisco in center, Chu is in right. Peralta third, Cabrera at short, Carroll is at second, Garco at first, Martinez behind the plate.
Umpiring crew tonight, Tim Welke, the crew chief, calling balls and strikes. Jim Reynolds at first, Angel Hernandez at second, and Bill Welke at third.
Just about a 2-hour delay.
Jackson with a lob to first. B.J. Upton with 14 stolen bases can really move when he wants to.
Yeah, the Rays as a team have 80 stolen bases. That's 20 more than any other team in baseball has. They've been caught only 9 times, so it's a very good ratio, a good percentage as a ball club, and they do keep the pressure on when they get their guys on. Although as a left-hander, you might be able to slow them down a little bit.
Crawford is 2 for 7 in this series. And he takes a strike. That evens the count of 1-1. Crawford a .316 batting average on the year, but again, he has been sizzling over his last 34 games, hitting .356.
Well, this is the longest tenured Ray.
Runner goes.
Forget about it.
Foul back out of play.
He had it stolen, but you're up there as a hitter. You like the pitch. You're going to have to go ahead and swing. But he had a very good jump. When a guy like this, and he has long strides. He's out, and now he's really flying. But he realized the foul ball. See, he's got long legs, and when he plays center field as well, he looks like he's gliding, but he's really covering a lot of ground. Unlike where Crawford takes the short, quick steps, the choppy steps, he gets there in a hurry. But both these guys are pretty fast.
Jackson's 1-2. No, a toss to first instead, driving Upton back. Upton had 44 steals a year ago.
Well, he has 14 now, and he's hitting 189. What would he do if he's hitting about 300? Gives you that opportunity. It'd be like Crawford that gets on more. He'd have more opportunities to steal bases. But coming off the shoulder surgery in the offseason, his year started off slowly, offensively.
1-2. Crawford just punched it foul over toward the Indians' dugout. And he stays alive.
This is a protected swing. And, as a hitter, when you can do that ball's outside. Wasn't even close to being a strike. But he fights to get another pitch. That's all he tried to do was just foul that ball off.
One-two base hit into right field. Upton will stop at second base as Chu gets to it quickly.
You do that, good things happen. He fouled off a ball 8 inches outside and then ends up pulling one in the hole. Gets that breaking ball. That's the one thing about Zach Jackson, about lefties. That slider isn't devastating where he can really dominate the left-handers. AAA hitters were hitting .256 off him. And left-handers down there were hitting .217. But left-handers up here are a little different.
Two on, nobody out for Evan Longoria. who is 0 for 5 in the series, and he swings and misses at the first pitch. Longoria with big numbers already this year. 324, 11 homers, 49 runs batted in. He also has 20 doubles. Jackson's 0-1 pitch is outside, evens the count at 1-1. Let's get a look at our Firestone League leaders. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Jason Bay's closing the gap on Longoria.
Well, those two got off to a great start. They're still up in the lead. They've been up there for, it seems like, all year.
Swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is where the Rays have struggled in the series. They are 0 for their last 15 with runners in scoring position in the series. And a tap foul. Carlos Pena waits on deck. Meanwhile, Zach Jackson, 11 pitches into the game, he's thrown 9 strikes. But the Rays have had a couple of ground balls find holes, and the first 2 aboard. 1-2 punched softly into right center. That's a base hit. Into third base, Upton's going to be waved home as Chu's throw goes to the cutoff man. And the Rays grab the early lead, 1-0. Longoria down on the count. Reached out and just poked it into right center field. And the first 3 Rays have all singled off Zach Jackson to start the game.
Well, I mean, these guys are good hitters. I mean, that's not a strike. But they're protecting right now. That's the first hit they've had in their last 15 at-bats with a runner in scoring position. It came with 2 strikes. And you can give him the RBI. That gives him 50 this year, so it's 3 straight singles. Not that they were hit that hard, but, you know, they found a way to put it in play. Good things happen when you can do that.
Only the second run in the last 15 innings now in the series.
This is a team that can strike out, but it seems like they changed their approach right now.
Carlos Pena looks at a ball outside. Pena has gone 3 for 8 in the series with a home run. And that tap foul by Pena evens the count of 1-1. Carlos Pena with 16 home runs. It is 16th in last night's game. But that was really it offensively for the Rays last night.
Well, his streak of 11 consecutive games with a walk ended. You know, he will take his walks. He will swing hard. He gets aggressive when he gets up there.
Pena is 1 behind Marco Scudero for the league lead in walks with 35.
His home run ratio against the Indians is about as good as you can get. I think it's 1 about every 10 at-bats, or just a little higher than that.
Fouled back.
When he first came up with the Detroit Tigers, he seemed to... Yeah, I remember him having 3 home runs in this ballpark one game.
Victor Martinez took the brunt of that foul ball. Looked like it got him right on the shoulder, right next to the mask. Martinez, though, never flinched. The home plate umpire just gives him another couple of minutes to shake it off.
That's great. They just say, you okay? You're ready to go. And when they find out you're okay, they get back behind the plate. And, ouch, that didn't even look like it hit anything except those little pads that sit up there, they flap around. So I think it got underneath that.
The 2-2 in the dirt, and a good
nice stop
by Victor.
Boy, I wouldn't want to be a catcher for anything. You talk about bouncing around. Right after taking that one in the shoulder, look what he has to do. He's got to get down there and men on first and third, and a guy that could really run on third and stop that ball and block it.
3 balls and 2 strikes to count on Pena now, with Willie Ibar waiting on deck. And the payoff pitch is strike 3 called. Jackson gets the first out here in inning number 1 as he rings up Carlos Pena.
Well, he must have been sitting on a breaking ball, because there's the fastball away. Pena does an offer, and it is called. So Zach finally gets his first out. It's a strikeout. Now a ground ball would get him out of it.
And Willie Ibar, switch hitter, will bat right-handed. Just 1 for 8 in the series so far. High and wide for ball 1. Ibar starting at second base for the 3rd straight game. After Akinori Iwamura was placed on the DL and lost for the season, he'll need reconstructive knee surgery. Ibar is batting .321 in the month of May, after he batted .148 in the month of April. Finds the hole, and the run will score from third. That's Crawford touching home. 2-0 in favor of the Rays. You just saw the splits. He was only batting .188 from the right side of the plate. But he got a pitch that he could pull.
Well, maybe up a little bit, and he was able to just get it in the hole. He got the ground ball he wanted, but it found a hole. So now that's already 4 hits, and their second run just scored. And this guy has been a tough out for everybody this year, Ben Zobrist.
Zobrist, another switch hitter.
He's a little different from this side of the plate. .342.
Called strike. He is 3 for 7 in the series. Zobrist, a much higher average from this side of the plate, but most of his power is from the left side. Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 is bunted foul. Over towards third, 1-2. Zobrist playing in his 41st game this year. It's his 25th start. Most of his action have been in right field. Twelve of his starts have come split up between all 3 outfield positions.
He's worked his way very hard to, he came up as a shortstop to become a very good utility guy that can play just about anywhere on the field.
Just missed 2-2. And the 2-2 offering. Full count. If you go back to last year and include what he's done so far this season, he's hit 20 homers and 306 at-bats. And he's hitting here with 2 on and only 1 out in the first inning, and the Rays already up 2-0. 3-2 pitch. Hammered down the left field line, but foul. Joe Dillon waiting on deck, waiting to make his Tampa debut. And Jackson's 3-2 pitch is again fouled off. Zobrist with 8 home runs, 10 doubles, and a triple. He has a .620 slugging percentage. That would rank him 3rd in the American League, but he's doesn't have enough plate appearances to qualify. He slugs one in the gap. That's going to get one home. It's going to bring home the second. Now they put a late stop sign on Willie Ibar. It looked like he was going to come around and score, and he may have had an opportunity because the relay was bobbled. But Tom Foley threw up a late stop sign. So it's 3-0 Tampa on the Zobrist RBI hit. And the Rays are rolling here in the first with 5 hits already.
I think he just felt, with Ibar coming around third, that there was no sense in forcing the issue because right there, DeRosa drops it. Peralta's going to drop it. If he sent him, he would have been safe easily. But he holds him up just to be a little careful. Give the next guy a chance. They're hitting. 5 out of the 6 players have hits. And already out in the first inning again, pitching coach Carl Willis. Time and time again, it seems like he's out there in the first 2 innings if it's not Cliff Lee or Carl Pavano on the mound.
Take a look at our injury report brought to you by the law firm of Nuremberg, Paris, Ohio's injury lawyers since 1928. Call 1-800-399-2300. There you get a look at the Indians' injured players. And a long list of wounded Rays. Jason Bartlett and Akinori Iwamura, their keystone combination. Troy Percival was their closer, but he may be done. Joe Madden said he wouldn't be surprised if he calls it a career. Now Joe Dillon serving as the DH tonight. Looks at ball 1 down low. Joe Dillon called up from AAA yesterday. He was acquired from Oakland back on May 9th. He was the player to be named later when the Rays traded Adam Kennedy to Oakland earlier this month. He's 33 years old. He has spent parts of 3 seasons in the big leagues with the Marlins and the Milwaukee Brewers. A career .257 hitter in the big leagues. Two balls and a strike.
You don't see many right-handers with the open stance like he has. You see more left-handers, that are opened up a little bit more than you do right-handers. Watch how that front foot really comes back and opens up.
2-1 missed inside. 3 balls and a strike. Who was the guy? I can't think of his name. Was it
Ryan Downey?
Batista?
Oh, yeah.
Played with Baltimore and then with Minnesota.
Toronto, right.
He literally stood with his shoulder square to the pitcher.
Yeah.
He was so open.
I mean, it was right. It was on
crazy.
The back line. It was absolutely crazy.
Now the 3-1. And it's ball 4. The bases are loaded. Whew. And a rough first inning for Zach Jackson. The Gabe Kapler, the 8th man to bat. And now 34 pitches for Zach Jackson.
Boy, I mean, how long do you wait before you have to get that bullpen up?
Gabe Kapler getting the start tonight. And he takes a strike. He's just 1 for 16 in his last 8 games. They've got a 2-Gabe platoon, do the Rays. Gabe Kapler and Gabe Gross. Gross, the right-handed hitter. I should say the left-handed hitter, Kapler, from the right side. Willie Ibar at third. Ben Zobrist at second and Joe Dillon down at first. Still only one out. 1-1 pitch. Back up the middle. Into center field. That'll get Ibar home. Here comes Zobrist. He will score. Francisco's throw to third, and safe at third is Joe Dillon. Looked like they had him, but third base umpire Bill Welke calls him safe, and the Rays continue to pour it on. They now lead it 5-0, and the Rays have batted around.
Well, right there, I look at it as good hustle for Marshall Joe, because you're already leading in the ball game, so you can force it now. You can be aggressive and make him make a perfect throw. Francisco had a nice throw, but by the time Peralta could get over there and tag him on the shoulder, his arm got in. He slides to the outside part. That's good hustle. He tagged him down around the thigh area. So the throw from Francisco, not bad. But it's now second and third. They have 5 in and still just 1 out. And still nobody up in the Indians' bullpen.
Michel Hernandez batting ninth. Doing the catching tonight. 10 ribbies and only 37 at bats. He's piled up 6 runs batted in his last 4 games and a chance for more. Nice play at third by Peralta. He'll throw out Hernandez, 2 down. B.J. Upton started the game with a base hit up the middle. He'll bat for the second time in the inning with runners at second and third, and now 2 down. And a hard ground ball to short as Drupal Cabrera will throw him out. Inning over. But the Rays score 5, and they lead it 5-zip. Indians coming to bat when we come back. First, let's get a look at Eric Wedge's starting 9, courtesy of Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. As Drupal Cabrera leading it off, Grady Sizemore DHing once again tonight, Victor Martinez, Shin-Soo Choo in the cleanup spot, then Johnny Peralta, who's been tearing it up lately, Mark DeRosa in left field, then Ryan Garco, Ben Francisco, and Jamie Carroll rounded out.
Andy Sonnenstein on the mound, 3-4. He's won his last 2 starts, but I got to tell you, this guy, you look at his numbers, they have been giving him, as the first inning shows you, some kind of run support. He has run support just under 17 per game the last 2 times he's been on the mound. So, and they're off to a good start tonight with already 5 on the board in the top half of the first. So he's pitching on the right day.
Back over the screen. Well, in his last start against the Marlins, they threw up 15 runs for him. And then the start before that was against the Indians. And he they won up 7-5.
Yeah, well, yeah, he left up 7-5. 22 runs in the 2 games.
Throws him out, 1 down.
Let's look at the Rays' defense behind Sonnenstein tonight. In the outfield, it's Crawford in left, Upton in center, Kapler is in right. Longoria at third, Zobrist at short. Ibar at second, Pena at first, and Hernandez behind the plate.
Grady Sizemore serving as the DH, batting in the 2-hole. 2 for 8 in the series so far. And takes a strike.
And when you look at the splits on Andy Sonnenstein against lefties, he's tougher against left-handers and righties. They're hitting .269 with 1 homer off him this year, where righties are hitting .395 and 4 home runs. Hard to figure out, but that just tells me he's leaving a lot of pitches middle of the plate. And he's the kind of guy that has to locate and stay out of the middle and get on the edges.
He went too far, and a strikeout, quickly 2 down. If there's an engagement in your future, stop by Alvin's Jewelers and check out their Pray for Rain promotion. Buy your engagement ring at Alvin's Jewelers, and if it rains on your wedding day, your engagement ring is free. Log on to alvinsjewelers.com for all the details. Here is Victor Martinez, currently 3rd in the American League in batting average. Had last night's game off, was 1 for 6 in the opener, and the 1 was in his last at bat, and it drove in the winning runs. One ball and 1 strike. Andy Sonnenstein, born in Wadsworth, Ohio, makes his home in Barberton. Played collegiately at Kent State. Missed down low, 2 balls and a strike. You may recall the last time Sonnenstein faced the Indians when we were down in Tampa was the day of the lineup snafu, and Sonnenstein was forced to bat in that game. Not only did he bat, he had to bat in a 3-hole. And what did he do? He helped his own cause with a double over the head of Ryan Garco in left field that drove in a run. 1-hop seed hit right at Ibar, the second baseman, and the Indians go 1-2-3. 5-0 Tampa after 1. Official airline of the Cleveland Indians, Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. Buy McCafe coffees at McDonald's, all made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures. We make seeing the dentist easy. Five zip in favor of the Rays. Go to the second inning of action here at Progressive Field after a rain delay of almost 2 hours before we got started here tonight. Carl Crawford will lead it off. He singled and scored in the Rays' first inning. And he takes a strike from left-hander Zach Jackson. Carl Crawford, Rick told you, the longest tenured Ray. He is signed through this year, and there is a club option for next season as well. And the way he's playing right now, that's a slam dunk.
Well, that's just a solid player, good defender. He's a top of the lineup hitter. He can run. He can do it just about all.
1-1, bouncer to second. Jamie Carroll will throw him out, one away. Here's a look at tonight's Alltel text poll. Question of the game: who was the last Rays pitcher to beat the Indians here at Progressive Field? Was it Danny Baez, Joe Borowski, Seth McClung, or Mark Hendrickson? Text your answer to 31962. We'll have the results later in the game. Evan Longoria looks at a ball outside. He had an RBI single and scored a run his first time up. Cuts and misses, and it evens the count at 1-1. Foul back. Evan Longoria was drafted in the first round. He was the third overall pick in 2006.
Boy, and after what we've seen from this guy to this point, I want to know who the first two guys were.
Played 2 years in the minor leagues and then kicked the door open last year.
Well, and do you remember they
struck him out looking, 2 down.
Let's take a look at this. That locks up Longoria right there, outside edge, good pitch. Perfect placement. You know, now that I think about this, and I remember Zach Jackson from last year when he had an opportunity to start some games, always seemed like he had a bad first inning. You know, or he got behind early and then he settled down. It was that first inning that really got to him.
That ball slugged to the gap in right center. Chu will cut it off, and he'll hold Pena to a 2-out single.
Well, he didn't get him with that pitch that time. He took it his first time up and struck him out, but he jumped all over it this time. Hit it into right field. That'll be a base hit. Already hit number 7 for the Rays.
Here's Willie Ibar, and he takes a strike over the outside edge. He had an RBI hit his first time up. In the air, left field. Mark DeRosa will make the catch. And the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the second. 5-0 Tampa. 5-0 in favor of the Tampa Bay Rays as we go out of the bottom of the second inning here at Progressive Field. Shin-Soo Choo, Johnny Peralta, and Mark DeRosa to bat against Andy Sonnenstein. Choo takes a first pitch strike. Choo 1 for 9 in the series. And it's quickly 0-2.
Well, he looks like he wants to pound the strike zone tonight. 10 strikes out of his first 13 pitches. Sonnenstein, born in Wadsworth, pitched at Kent State, now lives in Barberton.
Struck him out looking. That didn't take long. And that's the second strikeout for Andy Sonnenstein. One down here in the second inning. Every time the Indians go deep this year, the Gathering Place receives money courtesy of our friends at Great Clips, who are donating $50 for every Indians homer this year. Rick and I are each chipping in $5 for every Indians homer as well. So $2,940 so far. And you can log on to touchedbycancer.org and make a pledge as well. Indians really used the long ball to do all their damage last night. This evening, already in a 5-0 hole. Johnny Peralta, 2 out of 8 in the series with a homer, 18 ribbies on the year, and 9 doubles. Out of play. Just missed inside with it. Same spot. And he missed again, full count. And he lost it up high, ball 4. So the first base runner for the Indians tonight comes with 1 out. And it will bring up Mark DeRosa. Check out our great clip of the game from yesterday, Mark DeRosa. And that was after Ryan Garco had been hit by a pitch. DeRosa took Matt Garza deep with a 2-run homer. Relax, you're at Great Clips. DeRosa 4 for 7 in the series with that home run.
Well, let's see if the pace changes, because this is where, when you can get to Sonnenstein, with runners on, hitters there hitting .419 with 3 homers off him, with nobody on, .267. So his first time coming into the stretch. They're also hitting over .400 with runners in scoring position.
Quickly 0-2 the count.
Well, and this is the way he has to pitch. Those 5 runs, that really relaxed him going out there in the bottom half of the first inning. He could concentrate on just being aggressive, pounding that strike zone, and continuing to go at the hitters. You don't have to worry about making a mistake.
Ground ball might find the hole. Diving stop by Zobrist. Gets up and throws. Not in time. Boy, a terrific effort by Ben Zobrist. But Mark DeRosa, hustling down the line, beats it out for an infield single. And the Indians have 2 on with 1 out here in the second inning.
That really was a good try. He got into the hole. He realized he wasn't going to get anybody at second base. So he gets up and just throws it all the way to first. Nice pick by Pena. But DeRosa beats it out. So that's the first hit by the Indians. That's first and second. And now Ryan Garco will get a chance.
Ryan Garko is 4 out of 8 in this series with 3 home runs. And looks at ball 1 down low. The Indians trying to get on the board and get themselves right back in the ball game. Cuts and misses in the count 1-1. Andy Sonnenstein was a 13th round pick out of Kent by the Devil Rays back in 2004. 2 years later in the Southern League, he was a 15-game winner with a .267 ERA and was the Rays minor league pitcher of the year. Strike called, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count. One year later, Andy Sonnenstein was in the big leagues. Had his first win on June 10th of 2007 in interleague play when the Rays beat the Florida Marlins. Up the middle it goes, hit the bag, and Karam's into right center. That's going to score Peralta easily, and Mark DeRosa goes all the way to third. What a crazy kick. I don't think it really affected the play any other than it allowed DeRosa to easily go to third base.
That's why I think it was a good kick, because there was no hesitation. It took the question out of what do I go to third base, because Upton plays a shallow center field. He's got a good arm. It's a high breaking ball, and again the right-handers hit him well. Again, with the stretch, but with the deflection, I don't think DeRosa would have got to third base if it just went straight into center field, because Upton plays so shallow. But deflection, Garko gets the RBI. He stays hot. And now a guy that is, in fuego off Sonnenstein. I mean, it is scary, the numbers that Ben Francisco has.
6 out of 7 with 4 home runs and a double.
The only guy I remember that maybe started off against a pitcher any hotter than what Francisco is against Sonnenstein was Grady Sizemore against Carlos Silva when he first came up. I believe he was 10 for 10 the first 10 times he faced him.
Francisco almost decleated Mark DeRosa.
Well, oh boy, if I was Sonnenstein too, when you see, it's a tough situation. You don't want to walk this guy here because you got 1 out, the base is loaded, and a man on third.
Watch DeRosa here.
I mean, he almost gets plunked. He was fortunate to get out. That ball was by him by the time he moved.
Uh-oh. There's a long drive, deep left field. It is gone to Souvenir City. Ben Francisco's 5th career home run off Andy Sonnenstein. Unbelievable.
Matt, it really is.
He pitched to him and got burned again.
Well, you almost have to pitch to him with the lead and the situation he was under. I mean, that is scary. Those are Little League numbers. This is going to be our Pepsi home run replay. And again, a hanging breaking ball that goes the distance. And you're not going to get that back. I don't know what it is about Ben Francisco to Andy Sonnenstein, but he just can't get him out.
Indians come right back with a 4 spot and trail it by a run as Jamie Carroll steps in. And now Carroll lines one into left field, a base hit. 4 straight hits for the Indians, 5 straight reaching in the inning. And now the top of the order, and is Drupal Cabrera to the plate. But before he steps in, Jim Hickey's going to make a visit to the mound. Sonnenstein laid that one right down the middle of the plate, and Carroll just jumped on it.
I mean, as soon as he went into the stretch here with that 1-out walk to Peralta, it started to snowball on him. And I don't know if it's him coming out of the stretch or what it is, but everything started to get upstairs. And now he'll be back into the stretch And the Indians going back to the top of their lineup.
You know, I understand what you were saying about having to pitch to Francisco in that situation. But the definition of insanity is repeating the same mistake over and over again, hoping for a different result. As Drupal Cabrera takes a strike. Cabrera grounded out to short his first time up.
Well, if I was Sonnenstein, I'd walk him. Even if the bases are loaded, I'd walk him. You better have given up 1 than 4.
Or, yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, not intentionally, but I'd make him swing at something.
I'd walk him intentionally.
I might throw it underhand.
You know, remember what Jim Palmer's told us before? Hey, if you have a notion a guy could take you deep, walk him. It's only one. Go get the next guy.
Cabrera quickly down on the count 0-2. So just after we flashed our Gathering Place promo, Ben Francisco goes deep.
Well, he sure did.
Throws more money into the kitty.
The Rays are probably thinking, what do we have to do to exercise the demons in this ballpark? You come out and out of the chute and in the first. And
going down to second is Carroll on the ball in the dirt, and he's just in there safely. Got the hand in ahead of the tag. Good aggressive base running by Jamie Carroll. He didn't have a great jump, but he saw the ball in the dirt and decided to take off.
Anytime you see the ball go into the dirt as a base runner with your secondary lead, you shuffle, you see the ball in the dirt, and you take off. And that's exactly what he did. And it's very difficult for a catcher to just pick that ball up and come up and fire a seed, even if it's very close to him. You're anticipating that ball being in the dirt before it even happens.
And the 1-2. Bouncer to third. Longoria's throw on the money. 2 down. Carroll holds at second.
Well, Saturday, the New York Yankees are in town. We're a 4-game series. Their only appearance at Progressive Field this year. And all fans in attendance will receive a rally towel courtesy of Continental Airlines. Visit Indians team shop or the Progressive Field box office for tickets.
Here now is Grady Sizemore. Fouls a pitch straight back. Grady 2 for 9 in the series. Struck out his first time up tonight. That's up high, 1-1. Rays jumped out with 5 runs in the first inning, but the Indians have battled back here in the second to within a run.
And to Sonnenstein's credit, he had Peralta down in the count 1-2, DeRosa down 0-2, Garco down 1-2. But those guys battled back, and maybe he made a few mistakes or didn't hit his spots, but they took advantage of it. They were down in the count. Already 30 pitches in the inning.
2-1 delivery. Down the left field line, slicing foul. Well, Sonnenstein is having a second inning that's very similar to the first inning that Zach Jackson had. Jackson was throwing a lot of strikes in that first inning.
Right.
But he gave up a lot of hits.
A lot of hits, a lot of runs.
6 hits in all. And
well,
sometimes got 5 runs.
Sometimes you, on ground ball, seeing eye, they do find holes, and you figure you're making a decent pitch. These are 2 contact pitchers that they're not going to strike out a lot of guys.
2-2, right field, base hit. Coming around third to tie the game is Jamie Carroll. On his way to second is Grady Sizemore in there safely with a 2-out RBI double. Sizemore's 10th 2-bagger of the year, his 30th run batted in.
Well, the Indians, I'll tell you, in this series, their two-out offense has been unbelievable. They have scored over 10 runs with 2 outs. This is the 11th run. They were 8 for 25 now. And this is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. A nice little cutter inside or a little slider to Grady. He's able to turn on it, keep it fair, and hustles and get himself into scoring position. And the Indians come back and put their own 5 spot on the board, so you got to love that. So we are back to even.
And the batter is Victor Martinez, the 9th man to bat in the inning. So the Rays batted around in the first. The Indians bat around in the second. And regardless of who you are in this series, no lead is safe this year. The Indians watched a 7-run lead evaporate down in Tampa. The Rays blew a 10-0 lead in the first game of the series. And now they've wasted a 5-0 lead here in Game 3.
I think it's safe to say there's never a lead safe when these two teams are playing. How about that?
Here's Joe Madden.
You know, and both managers, they want to stay away from their bullpens. Hey, we got a 12 o'clock game tomorrow with this one starting at late, you know, so you got to try and stay away from your bullpen as much as possible. With a couple days ago, the starters roughed up early.
1-1 to count.
But Fausto went an inning and a third in his start, and Price went 3 1/3. That was in Game 1. In that wild 11-10 game. And then both pitchers settled it down the following night, Pavano and Garza. But here we go. This is going to be another wild one.
Strike 2 called.
I'm in favor of playing a night-day doubleheader. Let's just stay here after Game 1, and we'll play the second one 20 minutes after.
You, me, and the crickets watching.
That's okay.
And the insomniacs at home. Here's the 1-2. Just a bit low. Grady Sizemore, the go-ahead run in scoring position. Rays shift for Martinez. They've got 3 on the right side. And a weak chopper. Zobrist throws him out. And the inning is over. The Indians get 5. And we are tied at 5 after 2 innings of play here in Cleveland. And we are in the 3rd inning, thanks to a 2-hour rain delay before the game even began. And we are back to even now. So let's start all over.
Okay, that's fine.
Only it's a 7-inning game now. Ben Zobrist, Joe Dillon, and Gabe Kapler. Zach Jackson deals, and it's above the belt, upstairs, ball one.
You know, I thought Jackson had some problem in the first innings last year. In his 9 starts last year, he gave up 5 first-inning runs he allowed. And, you know, I thought it was more than I thought that's where his problem was. It seemed like he got behind early, and then he settled in.
Two 2-0 the count on Zobrist. Now it's 3 balls and no strikes.
And then Redbird tells me, Mikey P, he gave up 18 runs in the 5th inning. That was another bad inning.
Well, a leadoff walk here to Ben Zobrist in the 3rd. Check out our Subway fresh face of the game. How about Rafael Perez?
Where's he at?
Bring him
AAA
back. Columbus.
Look at 2 innings last night. Oh, he probably couldn't pitch today. Well, bring him up for tomorrow. He's back.
Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Joe Dillon walked his first time up in his first plate appearance as Ray. Runner goes. Called strike, throw to second, and it's not in time. Ben Zobrist with his 5th steal of the year.
He took off first pitch last night. Same situation, he just took off. I must be going on first movement. With the left-hander out there, they figure Ben Zobrist not a base stealer, but you know what? It's number 5. And the Rays, it's their 81st.
Outside 1-1. They're the Go-Go Rays.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. Usually it was the Angels that were the ones that would run you into the ground, but the Rays have taken over.
Joe Dillon fights it off over the top of the dugout, and a nice grab off the carom.
You know, and that's exactly who's in second place, Matt, is the Angels with 60 stolen bases. I told you there were 20 behind coming in, and they are by far ahead of everybody else, too. So Tampa just in a world of their own.
Bounces it, just fouled on the first base side. Well, speaking of being in a different world, how about the Toronto Blue Jays? They've now lost 9 in a row after Baltimore got them in 11 innings today, 12-10.
They finally scored, and then they gave it up.
Roy Halladay went 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, wound up with a no decision.
Well, if you don't win with your big boy on the mound, then you're in trouble. That's how that slide continues. So he's had to go 2 turns through if he pitched today, and they're on their 8-game or 9-game losing streak.
Normally when that guy pitches, he stops streaks.
That's right. He normally does, but they haven't been scoring, and today they score, and then they give it up. That's what happens.
Struck him out looking. Nice job by Jackson to retire Joe Dillon for the first out here in the 3rd inning. It's his 3rd strikeout.
Little backdoor breaking ball. Wraps it around the outside corner of the plate. The right-handed hitter gives up. You see he's open, and that's not a bad little pitch to try and hit on the ground the other way. With nobody out and the man on second base, but he took it for a called 3rd.
Jackson fires a first pitch strike to Gabe Kapler, who drove in a pair with a base hit his first time up. How about the Seattle Mariners? They beat Oakland 6-1 today. In that game, Russell Branyan hit his 11th home run.
Yeah, we always knew he had power. He could hit them out of any ballpark, anywhere. Was that in Seattle, by the way?
That was in Oakland.
Okay. And he's getting a chance to play there a lot.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like he's just coming off the bench. That new GM out in Seattle who came from Milwaukee knew about Russell over there and ended up signing him.
Oakland, meanwhile, had a 3-game win streak snapped in that game.
Well, that's what the Indians are trying to do for the first time this year, is win 3 straight.
Grounder to short. Cabrera throws out Kapler. 2 down. Over to third goes Zobrist.
Well, vote for your favorite Tribe players for this summer's All-Star game. You can vote online at Indians.com, at Progressive Field, or at an Indians team shop. And fans who vote online will automatically be entered for a chance to win tickets for a dugout suite for a game this season.
Here now is Michel Hernandez, who grounded out to third his first time up.
And
he might do it again. Peralta, long throw. Garco can't dig it out. Boy, he short hopped him with the throw. And that's a costly error. A run will score, and Hernandez will get into scoring position. So instead of getting Jackson out of the inning, the Rays now have the lead.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where Johnny had to go back. And I think when he threw it, let's check, he was on his heels. You see, he had to wait for the hop and just didn't get enough on it. He short hops Garco. It gets by him at first base, so it'll be an error on Peralta. And the Rays will go back on top 6-5. Tough hop to pick it right there. And then that ball got into the seat, so he goes to second base. Error number 26 on the Indians.
Now B.J. Upton 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. The Yankees are beating up Texas 6-0 in the 6th inning. Murph told me in that game Mark Teixeira has hit his 15th home run of the year.
Yeah, he's been hot.
So he's just one behind Carlos Pena for the league lead now.
You know, that Peralta error is all part of learning over there at third base. You know, he's going to get different plays from different positions, and he's going to have his footwork. That's what it's going to take, is him getting used to his footwork.
Upton fouls it away.
You know, you're over at the corner of the diamond, and that's one of the tougher plays when you have to go back. And, you know, sometimes you may have to throw it underhand to get it there, depending on who's running, or you may have to hump up and throw it a little harder. That's all part of the learning process when you're switching positions, and it's not an easy job to go from short to third.
And the 2-2 is low, full count. Detroit returned to their winning ways tonight. They beat Kansas City 8-3. That was earlier today. In that game, Placido Polanco hit his first home run of the year, helping the Tigers to the 8-3 victory. They're 26-19 now on the year. Upton strikes out and the inning is over. Jackson is fan 4, but the Rays get a gift run and regain the lead 6-5. Here at Progressive Field, Tampa 6, Cleveland 5. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, it will be Shin-Soo Choo, Johnny Peralta, and Mark DeRosa for the Tribe against right-hander Annie Sonnenstein. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, joined now by Indians pitcher Carl Pavano. Down in the Indians dugout, coming off a terrific performance in last night's game to get his 5th win on the year. 7 innings, 1 run allowed on 4 hits with 6 strikeouts. And Carl, we were talking about that game last night, how much the bullpen needed a game like that, and Eric Wedge in particular needed you to go out. I mean, are you conscious of that when you go out there knowing that the bullpen has really been burned the night before?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conscious thought. Going into yesterday, the way we had to use the bullpen, I had to go deep, and I had to be efficient. So I was aggressive off the bat. You know, we got some quick runs. They made some plays behind me, and I was able to get into the 7th, so it worked out good.
You know, Carl, you've had a great month of May. You're 5-1, and it seems like you pitched like that all month long. You know, and it just continues to get better. Your big thing is going out there and strike one.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a guy that wants to control the zone, get early contact, and stay ahead of the hitters. And it's been working. I mean, obviously, I've had a chance to get in a good routine, get great work in with the trainers. Lonnie, I mean, he's been such tremendous help with me in between my starts to get me out there every 5th day, and I'm feeling better and better because of the consistency I've been able to get.
You know, I noticed last night, though, you had such a great changeup and good command of it, but you were also going upstairs. You're going north-south in that strike zone as well as in and out, and that's something that I like to see. I mean, does it matter who's behind a home plate when they call the pitch upstairs?
Well, I mean, some umpires do. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you're around the zone, the umpire is just like us. They get into rhythms. So, you know, if you're around the zone and you're hitting in and out, you're going to get a pitch every now and then. I mean, they get into rhythm just as much as we do. And for me to go out there and throw strikes and get ahead of hitters, I feel like the umpire is more apt to give you some pitches, you know, every once in a while, just, you know, for the fact that he gets into a rhythm just like we do on the mound.
Johnny Peralta grounds to third. Longoria throws him out. That's out number 2.
I shouldn't say that too loud, though, huh?
No, you're fine. No one's watching us right now. You can say that.
Okay.
That'll bring up Mark DeRosa, who had a base hit and scored a run his first time up tonight. Carl, the changeup has seemed to be really a bread and butter pitch for you. And I noticed there are a number of times where you've doubled up with it, you've tripled up with it, you'll throw it at any point in the count. How long did it take you for that pitch to be that comfortable for you?
I mean, luckily it's been a pitch that I've had for a while that I picked up, you know, my first instructional ball when I was younger. It was a pitch. I didn't really have much of a breaking ball until I got to the big leagues, and it's still my 3rd pitch, my breaking ball. My changeup really got me through the minors, and my fastball command helped me. And, you know, my slider was always a show pitch. It's starting to get to be a little more of an out pitch now, but it's something that I've depended on heavily throughout my career, and it's really, you know, it's helped me out a lot. And being able to control my fastball, being able to throw that and you know, hitters counts behind, ahead, I mean, it gives me the ability to, you know, change speeds and stay inconsistent as far as how I throw. I mean, sometimes, too, I'm going to throw a fastball, sometimes I'm going to throw a changeup. I think when a hitter goes up there and realizes that, I think it's an advantage for me that they got to think about 2 pitches instead of just 1. And for any pitcher, it helps them.
That's what I love what you say. It's my fastball command. And then when you can command that fastball, everything else is a bonus, isn't it?
No, definitely. I mean, I've had starts where I've gone out there with just the fastball, and I'll say it time and time again that if I have my fastball command and everything else is just average, I could pitch with my fastball and show the other pitches and just, you know, times that I can't spot it, I'm thinking just down, because you're not going to get hurt down, and you're going to get ground balls. You're going to give up your hits up the middle. But if you locate your fastball, you could get through a game. I mean, sometimes it's a laborious game, but, you know, anyways, you just get through it.
Carl, is it difficult for both of these starting pitchers to bounce back after you have the rough early inning of game? Is it hard to forget about that and move forward, or is that always kind of still gnawing at you at the back of your mind?
I mean, I think once you get to this level, you got to learn how to let things go, especially when you're giving up runs. You got to simplify it. It comes to a point where you just pitch at a time, executing pitches at a time, and that'll get you through those times, because you're not going to be perfect every time out. Things are going to happen that are going to, you know, mess with your rhythm, mess with your timing, you know, and you got to get through that. It's something that you learn as you get older in your career. And, you know, obviously, you know, nothing's perfect. So you got to go out there and you got to deal with what goes wrong, what goes right, and just keep pushing forward.
What do you do if you're Andy Sonnenstein and you got to pitch to Ben Francisco, who's on deck?
I don't know. I mean, he had a tough time with him in Tampa, too. I was just made aware of his stats with him. It's pretty impressive.
Well, he's homered his last 4 straight times off him. He's 7 of 8 with 5 homers.
Well, there's really nowhere to put him. I mean, you walk to get the bases loaded. You're picking your poison.
I'd walk him with the bases loaded. And it'd save you 3 runs.
Yeah, I don't know how that will go over though.
Well, you don't have to tell anybody.
Oh, nice.
Well, here's Ryan Garco with a base hit, and guess who's coming up with 2 men on base?
I'm telling you, I'd walk him.
Unbelievable. Should I move right now? Because he did hit a bullet over here last time.
Be careful or get a glove.
I'll get Cliff over here and have him stand in front of me.
You know, actually, with Andy Sonnenstein, he has problem once he gets into the stretch because with runners on, his average is about 420. Wow. And he's given up. So I don't know what it is, whether he's better from the full windup, but when he gets in the stretch, he struggles, and he has a tougher time against righties.
Carl, I'm sure there are guys who you had trouble with in your career. Does it become a mental thing when here comes so-and-so again?
No, I mean, you try to stay away from that. My whole thing is out there is, like I said earlier, you got to execute pitches. You obviously want to go after people's weaknesses, and sometimes someone's strength is your strength, and you can't give up on your strength. But you definitely don't want to plant negative thoughts in your head. I want to assume that I could get everyone out, and I'm going to make good pitches. And I think if you stay with that thought process, more times than none, you're going to make pitches when you need it. When you start second-guessing yourself and not having conviction behind your pitches, and I've been there before, you don't do very well. And you learn very quick that that's not how you want to train your mind to think.
All right, so Francisco with 2 on and 2 out looks at an 0-1 pitch down low. And, of course, somewhere in the back of Andy Sonnenstein's mind, he's got to be thinking, hey, the odds are in my favor. At some point, he's got to make it out.
Well, the first time he hung him a breaking ball, and he hit it a long way. I think I'd stay with hard stuff off the plate a little bit, force him to try and pull it.
Yeah, that looks like what he's doing right now.
The 1-1.
Ooh.
In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. And, of course, I suppose, Rick, as a hitter, when you know you've had a pitcher's numbers, your confidence goes up there. You're just off the charts. Yeah,
well, you see where Ben took a fastball. He put the fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike 1, and Benny's not worried. I mean, he's had success against him. He obviously picks the ball up early from Andy's hand or something.
Yeah, he definitely sees the ball pretty well off his hand.
He sees it very well. It's like a beach ball.
Off the middle, base hit coming
Come
around
on,
third
D-Row.
to Rosa. Hill will try to score. Throw to the plate. Not in time. We're tied at 6.
Wow.
So Ben Francisco continues his mastery of Andy Sonnenstein, and he's driven in 4 runs already tonight.
It truly amazes me how our team answers the bell every time. It's unbelievable how these guys work counts, get people in scoring position, and get them in. I mean, it's been tremendous.
They did that all the second half of last year, Carl, and they don't quit until the 27th out, I can tell you that.
And that's the way you win ball games. It's a great character of this ball club.
And they're still batting with 2 on and 2 out for Jamie Carroll, who lined a base hit to left field his first time up. And the pitch is inside for ball 1. Well, Carl, as a veteran who's been around on a number of different teams, with what this club has gone through so far this year, do you still see a good resolve that this club still feels like it can get back in the race?
I definitely do. I mean, you see it time and time again. Teams start off slow, but the way we plug away, the way we keep fighting.
And Garco scores! Oh, my.
Unbelievable. Just like we're doing now.
I was waiting for you to pick up the play-by-play there.
He ran through the stop sign of Joel Skinner, and that's beautiful because when a hitter or a runner does that, and he scores, it shows him that, you know what, sometimes you don't have to listen to him. Keep going. That was beautiful. Look at everyone laughing in there.
Yeah, they're all giving him a little.
Oh, yeah, why not? They should get Skinner. He tried to hold him up, and Garco scored.
Garco, maybe he's got something going with Jamie. He needed that ribby.
Yes, indeed.
That ball literally went right under the arm of Willie Ibar, who made a nice diving effort. And Garco able to come home with the go-ahead run. Tribe in front 7-6. Still 2 on, 2 out. As Drupal Cabrera, a swing and a miss. So after the first 2 men were out, the Indians have had 4 straight reach and 2 score.
Again, they get him out of the stretch. That's the same thing they did back in the second inning. After that 1-out walk to Peralta, the floodgates open. And Maury Garco is the story in this inning.
So is Drupal Cabrera with a couple of groundouts tonight.
That's what the Indians hitters have done. When they have had runners on base, they are 7 for 9. When they've had them in scoring position, they're 5 for 7. So they've taken advantage. They've gotten the key hits when they've needed.
Now the 0-2, and that's lined up the middle. Another
Come on,
base
Jamie,
hit.
get the third.
Here comes Francisco. He's going to score. Into third base goes Jamie Carroll, and Asdrubal Cabrera delivers the 3rd straight RBI hit with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning, and it's an 8-6 Indians lead.
I'll tell you, this is fun to watch.
I might have to do this every inning.
You know
guys.
what? I'll
We
tell
keep
you what.
scoring
You're
like
coming
this.
to the booth. After this inning, you can come up here. We'll go with a 3-man booth, and we'll see you tomorrow at 12. The first pitch. When you have somebody on and you're scoring, they have another 3 spot on the board. Cabrera, a nice job of hitting, and that's his forte this year. He's driving in the runs with 2 outs. Half his RBIs that he has this year are with 2 outs. So back they come. This is all taking place with 2 outs.
Let me ask you this, Carl. If you're in Zach Jackson's shoes right now, you're trying to stay calm, but you're probably feeling like a cheerleader at the same time, aren't you?
Oh, I mean, you're feeling good. I mean, we're picking him up. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, as starting pitchers or just any pitcher in general, we're going to have innings where we're not going to be perfect. But to see your team pick you up, it shows you that, they're not getting down. I mean, you just got to keep going out there and making pitches, and it makes you. It gives you more confidence knowing that, he had a bad first inning, and we came right back. So you just got to go out there and plug away. I'm sure Zach's feeling pretty good. He's gonna battle.
Well, as we all know, Carl, how important is it to go right back out there now if you're Zach Jackson after this inning and put a 0 on the board?
That's the most important. Times when your team scores, you got to get them back in the dugout the next inning. You can't get them out there. You got to keep the momentum going on your side. That's a good point.
Meanwhile, Asdrubal Cabrera picks up his 8th steal of the year. He's in scoring position now with 2 down. Sizemore doubled into the right field corner his last time up. Pops this one into shallow left. Carl Crawford is there, and he makes the catch. Carl, thanks for your time. Great job tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
All right. That's Carl Pavano. Indians score 3 times, and they're now back in front for the first time tonight. 8-6. Well, after 3 innings, we've had 14 runs on 16 hits. Who knows what to expect the rest of the way here tonight.
You really don't.
Zach Jackson's going to take the ball here for the 4th inning, and he's armed with a 2-run lead now. And really, he should have been out of that 3rd inning without allowing a run. It was an unearned run that scored against him. Carl Crawford will lead off the 4th. In the air, left field, pretty well hit. Back goes DeRosa, still going back, makes the catch in the back pedal. 1 away. Time now for our Direct Energy, bringing the gas sequence. Go back to the 2nd inning. Evan Longoria at the plate.
Looks like they started him off. A little changeup. Fastball he fouled off. Then that backdoor breaking ball caught the outside corner. Excellent pitch.
All right, Evan Longoria looks at a strike. They're telling us now that in that last inning, indifference was scored on the Asdrubal Cabrera.
Was the first baseman behind him? He probably wasn't playing first base or holding him on.
It's odd that you call indifference in the 3rd inning of a game.
Well, you know, I didn't notice. I didn't see it. I didn't see if they were holding him on. You know, if they weren't holding him on, then it is indifference.
Here is Evan Longoria now, swinging at the pitch, driving it to deep right field. Back is Chu, out of room, it's out of here. And Evan Longoria has hit his 12th home run of the year. He's driven in 2 runs on the night. He now has 51 ribbies on the year.
This could be the last man standing or the last one to hit here in this game. Look at the power from Longoria just the other way. Up, elevated. Anytime a ball is up in the strike zone, it looked like he didn't even stride there. He just moved his weight shift. Nice catch by a fan out there on the home run ball. And it's an 8-7 game.
And Carlos Pena pops one straight up on the infield. Ryan Garco will make the catch. And that is out number 2. History's biggest hit is back. Don't miss a sneak peek of Ice Road Truckers after the bottom of the 7th inning of tonight's game. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen any of the guys who drive on the ice for a living. You talk about white knuckle driving.
No, I wouldn't. Nope. You can.
Willie Ibar, 1 out of 2 with an RBI and a run scored. 8-7 our score in favor of the Indians. 1-2 the count. Two balls, 2 strikes. After a 2-hour rain delay tonight, we were underway here just about 9 o'clock. Tampa came out, scored 5 times in the 1st inning. The Indians came back and scored 5 times in the 2nd inning. Rays got a run in the 3rd. Indians got 3 in the 3rd. Tampa coming back with a solo home run here in the 4th inning. And the 2-2 from Jackson is up high, full count. If Ibar reaches, Ben Zobrist is next. It's already the 81st pitch of the night for Jackson. And he missed with it. Ball 4. Well, let's go back to the STO studios right now for a Ford Sports Update with Al Pawlowski.
Matt, Rick, you guys were talking about the Yankees in Texas. Yeah, New York's having fun down there in Arlington. Here's Kevin Cash in the 6th inning, singling in 2 runs. Yankees ahead 6-0 as they're now in the top of the 7th inning in Arlington. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Al. Texas really one of the surprise stories this year, leading the AL West going into tonight's action. That's hit hard, but foul. Ben Zobrist doubled in a run and scored in the first. He walked, stole a base, and scored in the third. The Yankees, of course, will be here on Friday to start a 4-game series. Hope to see you down here at the ballpark. Looks like great weather for the 4-game weekend series.
What do we have? One more day. Tomorrow's a chance, of
a
little rain around.
Tomorrow's still a little scattered. But then it looks like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday look like going to be great weather days. Good pitching matchups. Cliff Lee, Andy Pettit on Friday night. Fausto Carmona goes against CC Sabathia on Saturday. Carl Pavano, Phil Hughes on Sunday. And on the Monday night wraparound game, it'll be Jabba Chamberlain for the Yankees, and the Indians to be determined at this point. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Activity now in the Indians bullpen. There's also activity in the Tampa bullpen. Both starters roughed up here tonight in the early going. Greg Aquino, right-hander for the Indians. 2-2 to Zobrist. Outside, full count. Ryan Garco is going to drop behind Willie Ibar at first. He'll be off with his 3-2 pitch and 2 outs. And it's ball 4 off the glove of Martinez. Ibar takes a big turn, but he'll hold there at second.
That's the one thing, Zach Jackson, you don't want to do is start walking people. I mean, they've battled back. They've given you the lead. You're better off if you got to make them hit their way on.
It'll be Joe Dillon batting here with 2 on and 2 out. Dillon's first action as a Ray. He walked in the first, struck out in the third. Here comes Carl Willis to pay a visit to the mound. That'll give us time to let you know that fill the house every Wednesday night here at Progressive Field, and tonight the Diversity Center was benefiting from our Fill the House promotion. Indians making a donation of $1 for every paid ticket in the ballpark tonight. And with a paid attendance of 19,240 and the group ticket sales and experience package fundraising efforts by the Diversity Center of $9,664, the Cleveland Indians are proud to present a donation to the Diversity Center of $28,904.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Carl Willis had his say, trying to get Jackson through this 4th inning. And Tampa, they came into this game struggling with runners in scoring position, but they started off very, very good in that first inning. They were 4 for 5 to start, but 0 for 6 since. There's a situation here which would be huge if Zach Jackson could get out of it here at the end of 4th. They have runners in 1st and 2nd. Both were on because of walks.
Jackson delivers. Dillon lifts a fly ball to left. DeRosa will make the catch. Jackson gets out of it, yields a run, but the Indians still lead it 8-7. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. Don't forget to stop by Panini's and enjoy pizza, wings, or one of their overstuffed sandwiches on the outdoor patios. Panini's, the best outdoor dining in town. Visit paninisgrill.com. 8-7, Indians on top. Bottom of the fourth inning, new Rays pitcher, right-hander Joe Nelson coming on. Andy Sonnenstein went just 3 innings tonight, allowing 8 runs on 9 hits. Victor Martinez leads off, takes a strike.
Well, and Sonnenstein ran into trouble when, as you look at the numbers from Joe Nelson, Andy Sonnenstein, when he was out of the full windup, over 6, but from the stretch, hitters 9 for 12. So I don't know what it is, if he tips his pitches or what, but they had pretty darn good swings.
Again, Martinez bounces out on the right side. 1 away, he's 0 for 3. Let's get a look at our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. It's been a wild game as the Rays got 5 in the first, and then the Indians came back with 5 in the second. And then the Indians put up 3 in the third. 3 consecutive 2-out RBI singles. And it's now an 8-7 ball game. Shin-Soo Choo looks at a ball outside. One ball and 1 strike. Choo is 0 for his last 7. And now the count, 2 balls and a strike. You know, it's funny. We talked about it last night with the bullpen situation that the Rays are in, the sort of closer by committee. Remember, Joe Nelson was in the closer's role when we were in St. Pete.
He got a save against the Indians. He sure did. You know, the one problem with that is you try and ride the hot hand, but you're afraid, I think, as a pitcher, when you go out there, if you don't do your job, then you're not going to be closing the next night, and it's a very difficult situation. I don't know many teams, if any, that really succeeded and have gone deep into the playoffs or anywhere when you have a committee to close ball games.
Choo draws the 1-out walk. Well, the Rays have 6 different pitchers with at least 1 save. Nelson has 2. And their saves leader is Troy Percival. And as we mentioned earlier in the telecast, he's on the DL. He's left the team, and Joe Madden doesn't believe Percival's coming back. He may call it a career. Now Johnny Peralta has walked and scored and grounded out tonight. And a first pitch strike to Peralta, who is 2 for 9 in the series. Cuts and misses, and it's quickly 0-2. Off the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Johnny got a piece of it, and he'll stay alive.
That's the thing. Nelson with a pretty decent changeup. You'll see a lot of hitters out on that front foot.
Now the 1-2 coming. Nelson's one of those guys. I think. Justin Spire. Remember the unique grip he had he called it the Vulcan grip.
Yeah.
I think Joe Nelson's a guy that uses that same type of grip for his changeup. Base hit into right field. Chu will stop at second base, and the Indians have 2 on with 1 out here in the inning, in the 4th inning.
Well, he shoots it and finds the hole. Right there, I'm thinking Chu might have been able to get to third base. I don't know. Let's see here, because it's hit behind you. But he turned, he took a peek, and he figured, nope, he was just getting to the ball right as I was turning. Gabe Kapler throws the ball, hits his cutoff man, so he stays at second base. So it's first and second now with 1 out.
Mark DeRosa with a base hit, a walk, and he scored 2 runs tonight. Indians up 8-7. They've already banged out 10 hits tonight. And DeRosa goes down in a hurry. And the 1-0. Line to third, and it's caught by Longoria. 2 down. He may have had a chance to double up Chu at second base, but I'm not sure if Chu wasn't right in his line of sight.
That's exactly right, and you have to be sure. You don't want to throw the ball away. I mean, he thought about it. He looked at both bases. But Chu did a nice job. You freeze, and you get back. And, you know, it looked like he didn't have it cleanly right originally when he caught that ball. DeRosa hit it right on the nose. Believe me, you get a feel out there. You don't want to make a stupid throw just to rush it and try and get the double play. And if you don't have it, you hold on to it. Smart play.
Here's Ryan Garco with 2 hits, a ribby, and 2 runs scored, and he's plunked by the pitch. So Nelson chucked one up and into DeRosa. Now he hits Garco, and the Indians have the bases loaded with 2 down.
For somebody that's awfully hot.
And Ben Francisco's coming to the plate.
This one, did it go off his helmet? Oh, shoulder. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing he got out of there. I thought it got his helmet. Got him right on the shoulder as he was ducking behind. He's okay. You see him smile. Might have been in shock a little bit right there. But another hit batter for the Tribe. What's that, 32 now?
In the dirt. Well, Garco was hit by a pitch in last night's game, so he's been hit twice in the last 2 games.
Yes, he has. Well, the Indians have destroyed Tampa in this series with 2-out runs. The Indians have 14 2-out runs in the series, hitting at .375.
1-0 pitch to Francisco. Outside, 2-0. They have been chewing them up down at the bottom.
Boy, I'm telling you, when that part of the lineup can provide you that kind of support, you should be cakewalking, but it's not. It's a 1-run game.
Popped up.
That's going to stay in, isn't it?
Nope, out of play. Two and 1 the count. Francisco with a 3-run homer in the 2nd inning, an RBI single, and a run scored in the 3rd. That was off Andy Sonnenstein. So Francisco is now 4 for 8 in the series. He's open. Joe Nelson grooves him one more. Low, 3 balls and a strike. And he's got nowhere to put him. And the 3-1 is chopped foul, full count.
Oh, he had a good swing on a good pitch to hit. Just fouled it off. You know, he's going to throw you a strike. There it was. And Francisco just swung over the top. Look at him. He was already talking to himself.
So everybody moves on this 3-2 pitch with 2 outs in the 4th inning, and the Indians up 8-7. The payoff is popped in the air. Shallow right. Coming in is Kepler, and it's Pena, and they all go down in a heap, and Pena hung on for the out. So the inning is over. Indians leave them loaded. And we have played 4 complete. Tribe on top 8-7. Indians baseball on Sports Time Ohio, brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. By Alltel Wireless. Choose who you call for free with My Circle. Any number, any network. A wet night in downtown Cleveland. A 2-hour rain delay before we got started. And then, since we started this ball game at about 9 o'clock, it has been an offensive onslaught. 15 runs on 18 hits combined in the ballgame. Greg Aquino will be the second Indians pitcher tonight in relief of Zach Jackson.
4 hits in his 5 innings pitch. He has walked 3, 2 strikeouts. Coming on to face Kepler, Hernandez, Upton, 8-9-1.
So far this year, the Indians have scored in 19 innings total in the series against Tampa Bay. 16 of the 19 innings in which they've scored have been multi-inning runs.
You love that.
Or multi-run innings, however you want to say it. But, I mean, they have come in bunches. 9 times they've had a 2-run inning, 4 times a 3-run inning, and then a 4, 5, and 7-run inning each.
Wow. The crooked numbers, they can hurt you, they can do some damage.
Gabe Kepler had a key 2-run single in that first inning. Grounded out in the 3rd. 3 balls, no strikes. Kapler, Michel Hernandez, and B.J. Upton for the Rays here in the 5th. And a strike called. That's a ground ball foul over there by third. Count goes full. And Aquino's payoff pitch. High pop. Shallow left. Peralta and Cabrera converge as Dribble makes the grab and foul ground, 1 away.
Well, visit any of the Indians team shops or ballpark stands for a great merchandise and ticket deal. If you spend $45 or more, you'll receive a voucher for tickets to a game in May. Indians team shops, your source for authentic Indians merchandise and Indians game tickets.
Michel Hernandez 0 for 2 tonight. Both times he's hit the ball to third. And Aquino delivers outside for ball 1. Pop foul right side, 1-1. Michel Hernandez, a native of Cuba. Again fouls it away. Hernandez was a star catcher in the Cuban National League. He defected in 1996. Cuban National League team was playing in Mexico, and he said after the game, the team went one way and I went the other. Ground ball into left field. A nice effort by Cabrera. But he can't take it away from Hernandez, who has his first hit on the night. He ended up defecting to Venezuela, and then the Yankees signed him in 1998.
Well, the good effort there by Cabrera, even if he makes that catch, he's not going to be able to get up and throw him out. But he tried to stop it, catch it, keep it in the infield. Could not do it. It's a little too much on it.
B.J. Upton looks at the ball down low. Down low, 2 balls, no strikes. Upton had the base hit and scored in the first. Since then, 0 for 2. And now Aquino has fallen behind him 3-0.
Well, he fell behind Kapler 3-0, and he was able to come back and get it, but that's certainly not the way you want to try and pitch.
Well, 14 pitches so far, only 6 for strikes. And the 3-0 is low. So a single and a walk after he retired the first hitter. And now he's got the meat of the order coming up. Check out our All Care Dental and Denture Smiling Easy Cam. 17 locations across northeastern Ohio. All Care Dental and Dentures makes seeing the dentist easy. He's on the banana phone, and he may soon be on the bullpen phone. Carl Crawford is 1 out of 3 tonight. Aquino delivers outside, ball 1. That's too low. 2 balls, no strikes, and he just cannot throw strikes right now. 11 balls, just 6 strikes. And he's got Evan Longoria waiting on deck.
Well, yeah, it's tough to pitch to guys when you're pitching the way Aquino is pitching right now. Sooner or later, he's got to come in and find that zone.
Gets one in there. Aquino with a 2-1 and a ground ball to first. Garco will go to the bag himself, and there are 2 down. Upton to second, Hernandez to third. First base is open, but you've got the righty-righty matchup here and a left-handed hitting Carlos Pena on deck. It's truly pick your poison right here.
Well, this guy leading the league in RBIs. Next guy leading the league in home runs. Longoria has a pair of ribbies tonight. He has 51 on the year. Hit his 12th home run in his last at-bat. And he went to right field.
I think Victor got crossed up there, and he's going to go out to the mound.
He sure did. He called for one thing, and he threw another.
Evan Longoria, we talked earlier, was the 3rd overall pick back in 2006. And you asked me at the time, well, who was number 1 and who was number 2?
Right.
Luke Hochevar of the Kansas City Royals was the number 1 overall pick that year. Colorado had the 2nd pick, and they chose a right-handed pitcher out of Stanford by the name of Greg Reynolds, who I believe is just kind of a bullpen pitcher. Hasn't really done a whole lot yet for the Rockies.
You know, everybody likes to go pitching with that number 1 pick, but this kid, he can be a star for a long, long time. Not that the other guys won't play or Hochevar's couldn't come around, but boy, this guy's awfully good.
Here are some of the guys who went after those top 3. Brandon Morrow from Seattle.
Right.
He was the 5th pick. We've seen him. Andrew Miller of Detroit,
who's now down in Florida.
Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers was the 7th pick.
Got a great arm.
And Tim Lincecum was the 10th pick of the San Francisco Giants that year.
Oh, is that right? He dealt a gem last night against the Braves.
So I was just reading a story about the 05 draft. How about the 06 draft? Those are some pretty good names all right there. Already in the big leagues 3 years later. 2-1 the count on Evan Longoria. Swung out and missed, 2-2. Pretty good fastball unleashed by Aquino.
Two-seamer running in. Yeah, that's
good
excellent
movement.
Spot. Yes, it did. It had a lot of movement to it.
He fires again. Struck him out looking. Good breaking ball, and it fooled Longoria. He strikes out with 2 in scoring position. And the Indians maintain a 1-run lead. Tribe on top as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Jamie Carroll, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Grady Sizemore to bat for Cleveland here. Joe Nelson on for a second inning of relief. The Birds have returned here to Progressive Field. They're all over the outfield. They seem to have congregated in front of
there they come back again, man.
Indians bullpen, probably because of the sunflower seeds. They're trying to pick up any remnants that they can find.
Could be. That's a good point.
Jamie Carroll's having a good night. He is 2 for 2, 2 singles, a ribby, and a run scored. Carroll, who started the year on the DL, ever since he got activated, he has been swinging the bat very well. A .333 average. This scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. And the 1-1. Wide of the mark.
We may need some Wendy's up here before you know it.
Fourth meal.
Well, we've been here since 3. I have a feeling this game will end tomorrow. And we'll play another one. This will be a 2-day game.
Down low. Well, we only have an hour until it's tomorrow, so you're right.
That's exactly my point.
It is going to be a night-day doubleheader. Carroll draws a leadoff walk. Experience the thrill of playing 2 baseball games at Progressive Field. You'll get 2 unis, gifts. You'll interact with Indians greats. All takes place Saturday, July 11th. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com and select fans for all the info. And you can also get a look at this past year's fantasy camp. Tomorrow night at 7, there's a special on Sports Time Ohio. On this past year's fantasy camp, you'll want to see that.
Yes, you will.
Tomorrow night at 7.
Check it out.
We've got a 12 o'clock game here on STO tomorrow. So, nice bunt by Cabrera. He's hustling down the line. Hernandez with the throw, pulled him off the bag, and his dribble is safe at first.
That's just a beautiful bunt. I mean, he ended up getting the bonus, the base hit, because he laid down such a perfect bunt. And Hernandez was actually the only guy that had something on it. Nelson came in. He was going to try and make the throw, but he was called off here. Get out of the way. My momentum's going to first. But the throw, even if it was on time, Cabrera would have beat it out. I mean, if it was down a little bit in the normal throw. So it goes as an infield single. So first and second now. Hit number 11 for the Indians.
2 on, nobody out. Grady Sizemore, 1 out of 3 on the night.
No.
He tried to bunt. And he
Not a bad idea right there. He just got it behind him.
It looked like he was trying to push it, too, not the drag that we've seen him.
No, trying to go to third base is what he was trying to do. Watch, that's where he got in trouble, where you see how deep that barrel is and then put it out there. He could have waited just a hair longer.
Got Longoria pinching in a little bit at third. And again, he tried to bunt. That pitch came up and in on him.
Yeah, he threw it right at his chest.
He bunted it almost out of self-defense.
He had to, or that ball would have hit him. Well, watch where this one starts out. Boy, it's right at his coconut. And look at the bat caught Grady in the jaw as he was trying to pull it back. That got him on the chin.
So now Sizemore will try to swing away. And the Indians have had a lot of success doing that. With runners on base, they're 9 for 14 tonight. In scoring position, already 6 for 11. Sizemore sent that one over there towards George Hendrick at the end of the Rays dugout. Jason Isringhausen, who flamed out in the series opener, is now warming in the Rays bullpen. 2 on, nobody out. 0-2 pitch to Grady. Popped him up. Shallow right. This is going to be a tough play. Kapler coming hard. Nobody's going to get to it. But they're still going to get the force out at second base. As Drupal Cabrera forced out, nothing he could do about it. Carroll's at third and Sizemore's at first on a bizarre fielder's choice.
What's that go, 4-6? He got turned around at second base. Ibar, look at him. He's going over. He turned to look over his right shoulder, and the next thing you know, it's over his left. But Cabrera couldn't go to second base, couldn't go halfway. He didn't know if the outfielder was going to come in and get it or Ibar was going to make the catch.
I'm not sure. Joe Madden's out arguing right now with the first base umpire, James Reynolds.
I don't know if he's arguing about the infield fly rule because an infielder has to be underneath it. And he did not run a good route. He wasn't underneath it.
And what Madden's arguing there is the runner wouldn't be allowed to go to third base, right?
You're right, because
out.
No, the hitter's automatically out. The runners advance at their own risk.
That's a good point.
So he's just saying, and actually we saw this a number of times here where I think Omar was playing shortstop. If you're not camped underneath it, they don't have to call an infield fly rule. And he did not run a good route, and there was no way that he should have caught that ball because of the way he turned for it. From our angle, we could see he was never going to get there. You see, he's halfway. Now he turns to break out. Where is he underneath it? He's not. He's turning now to go catch the ball, and he's nowhere close.
He wasn't within 4 feet.
That's why I'm saying you can't call an infield fly rule on that ball. There was no way was he underneath that ball at any way. So they get the force out at second base.
So Indians have runners at first and third with 1 out, and Victor Martinez 0 for 3 will be the batter. Martinez, a ground ball fair down the right field line. Carroll scores. Sizemore coming around third. He's going to try to score. Pena cuts off the throw, and it's a 2-run double for Victor Martinez. He scorched it into the right field corner past a diving Carlos Pena. And the Indians tack on 2 more. They now lead it 10-7. Martinez jumping on that pitch and hitting it hard right down the first baseline.
Well, and you can see it's going to go down into the corner. Let's see where Kapler gets it. He overthrows his cutoff man because, Victor's looking to see with Grady on first base, one of the few guys that would have scored from first base going right down the line there.
And it's another multi-run inning for the Indians against Tampa. Shin-Soo Choo 0 for 2 with a walk. Fouls it away, 0-2 the count. And this will be the 35th pitch of the night already for Joe Nelson, who got out of a bases-loaded 2-out jam in the 4th. Chu pops it back out of play. And that's foul over past the first base coaching box. Now the 0-2 to Chu. That's hit hard. Deep right center field, and she is gone. Shin-Soo Choo with a 2-run drive deep into the lower deck in right center field. It's a 4-run fifth inning. Chu's 6th home run of the year. He now has 28 runs batted in for the season, and the Indians are just battering Rays pitching here tonight, lead it 12-7.
Get a look at our Pepsi home run replay as he's going to find the nitro zone there of Shin-Soo Choo, and that looked like a hanging changeup, and it went a long, long way. So they just continued to add on. It is now a 12-7 ball game, a 4-run inning, and for Choo, home run number 6. Second home run of the night for the Indians. Francisco had a 3-run homer. Choo a 2-run dinger.
Johnny Peralta with a hit, a walk, and a run scored. And he hits a grounder to short. That's going to be Ben Zobrist, who will throw him out, 2 down. Let's go back to the STO studios right now for a Ford Sports update.
Well, hey guys, just like us, the West Coast game is also in the 5th inning. Angels and White Sox. Here's tonight's only run. Zach Fly, Paul Konerko will get Jermaine Dye in. Otherwise, it's a pitching duel tonight between Chicago and L.A. Weaver against Floyd, 1-0 Chicago, 5th inning.
Al, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were trying to rub it in.
Well, no. He's got to stay here, too.
That's true, yeah.
He's got to do the post game.
That's hard to believe that the West Coast game.
Al will try and get you home so you can get back tomorrow and do the pregame at a decent hour, I promise you.
That's hard to believe. But that happens when you get a 2-hour rain delay, and then you get 19 runs on 22 hits in the first 5 innings.
You just never know what's going to happen. That's just the way these two teams have played this whole year. I mean, they're dogfights. You keep coming out there, you keep going at them, and they come back, and it doesn't matter how many they score. There are a lot of high-scoring games.
Could you imagine if these two were in the same division and had to play 18, 19 times?
I think Tampa comes in here one more time, don't they?
Oh, no, this has got to be
it,
isn't it?
Oh, 4 games. Look at you. Wait, we got a...
DeRosa strikes out, and the inning is over. But the Indians get 4 more, and through 5, they now lead it 12-7. Well, the Indians have staked themselves to a pretty sizable lead now. 12-7. But as we have seen, no lead is safe in this series.
No, sirree. No, we saw Tampa come back from a 7-0 deficit to beat the Indians 8-7 down in Tampa. Indians were ahead at 9-0. They scored 6 in an inning.
Sixth inning of play. Carlos Pena 1 for 3 to lead it off.
I think as Carl Pavano said earlier, one hitter at a time, one pitch at a time, and that'll get your way through it.
Greg Aquino in his second inning of relief work. Swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Carlos Pena 4 hits and 11 trips to the plate in the series with a home run. Martinez goes back to the signs. And now the 1-2. Missed wide with it. Evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-2 from Aquino. Struck him out looking. Pena, he's hopping mad. And he tells Tim Welke about it. That's 2 strikeouts for Aquino. 1 down in the 6th. Check out our Alltel text poll question of the game. The last Rays pitcher to beat the Indians at Progressive Field, was it Danny Baez, Joe Borowski, Seth McClung, or Mark Hendrickson? Text your answer to 31962. Who was the last Rays pitcher to get the W against the Indians? A hint to the question. Rick talked about it during, I believe it was during the On Deck show.
I did?
Yeah. You didn't give the name, but you talked about the time.
Oh, okay.
Which would be a little bit of a hint.
I think I gave the name last night, to tell you the truth.
Way to go.
Oh, no, I didn't. I did to talk back. Let me put it this way. I discussed it last night, but it wasn't on air.
Okay. I remember the game.
I know you do.
I remember we were scratching our heads going, are you kidding me?
After we just came back from Kansas City and played that series?
Yeah, and I mean, you'd have thought it was Nolan Ryan rolled into Cy Young, rolled into Roger Clemens out there the way he pitched against the Indians that night. 3-1 pitch. Bouncer foul into the Ray dugout. Full count. Bouncer. Diving stop by Garco from his knees, throws on the money.
Nice play.
And a terrific defensive play turned in by Ryan Garco. 2 down.
Well, he had extension. He got up and fired a seed over there, and Aquino was over there to cover. He let him. Very nice play. This ball looked like it had base hit written all over it. Garco dives out, catches it, and the lead. Very nicely done.
So with 2 down, Ben Zobrist will be the batter. He's been on base all 3 times tonight. 2 walks, a double, an RBI, a stolen base, and 2 runs scored. Zobrist has been a thorn in the side of the Indians this year, and not just the Indians. He's done a terrific job for Tampa. And with all the injuries they've had, he's not going to be a super sub anymore. He's going to be a super regular. Strike call to the inside corner, 1-1 to count. After the series finale tomorrow, the Rays go home, and they'll open up a weekend series against the Minnesota Twins. So it doesn't get much easier in terms of who they'll face pitching-wise. They'll see Scott Baker, then Francisco Liriano, and Nick Blackburn in their next series. Even though Baker and Liriano both have ERAs over 6. Two down, bases empty, in the 2-1 pitch. Popped up foul, out of play. Yankees trying to put the finishing touches on the Texas Rangers. They lead at 9-2 in the 9th inning down at Arlington. New York 26-20 coming into play tonight. Started the night 1 game in back of Boston in the AL East. If you missed it earlier, Toronto lost again, their 9th consecutive defeat. Zobrist slashing it down the left side, out of play. Toronto had been the leader for most of the year in the AL East.
Yeah, they were.
This has been an incredible slide for them.
I mean, there's still 4 games. That's to go to show you how well they were playing. There's still 4 games over the 500 mark after losing 9 straight.
Aquino steps off. A 2-2 count on Ben Zobrist. And that is cranked to the gap in right center field. It will go to the fence. Zobrist has an easy double, and he's going to go for 3. Carroll's relay throw not in time, and a 2-out triple for Ben Zobrist, his 2nd hit of the night. He's been on base safely all 4 times.
Yes, he has.
And that's his 5th hit in the series.
Well, he's now 9 for 19 against the Indians this year. This guy has really been swinging a hot bat. And he plugs a gap, and he did not stop at second, so it'll be a 2-out triple for Zobrist, his 2nd triple of the year.
And the batter is Joe Dillon. Nope. Get a pinch hitter here. It'll be Gabe Gross. Left-handed hitter comes on for Joe Dillon, who was 0 for 2. And it's down low for ball 1. Gabe Gross is 1 for 7 in the series. And against right-handed pitching this year, he is batting .243. Strike is called. In his career, he's a .256 hitter against right-handed pitching and .163 average against the lefties, which is why he's in that platoon role.
Platoon, absolutely. Well, that's okay. If you platoon and you only get a chance to hit against righties, you better make sure you hit well when you get in there. Sometimes managers, it works, and other times, it's hard to find another guy that can play sparingly when you only see the left-handers that can be productive. To go with a combination. It's a pretty good pitch.
Didn't get the call. It's 3-1. Tim Welke has seen a lot of pitches tonight. 19 runs, 23 hits. Haven't been a lot of walks, though. That's the one good thing.
Well, it's
3-1 pitch. That's low, ball 4.
See? There's one.
Well, let's see. Jackson walked 4.
Yeah, there's
so that's
6
for the Indians.
That's not good. And there's 4 for them.
So
10.
An improvement on last night, anyway. So first and third for Tampa with 2 outs. And we'll get another pinch hitter. This will be Reed Brignac hitting for Gabe Kapler. And Carl Willis coming out to talk with Greg Aquino.
Well, if you're traveling, you can always catch the Tribe games on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 live out-of-market games per week, plus on-demand games. For full details, visit Indians.com, where baseball is always on.
Well, if you're wondering, isn't this kind of early to be going to your pinch hitters off the bench? Well, the problem is the Indians don't have a left-hander in the bullpen. So you get your left-handed hitters in the game now, you don't have to worry about them matching up against you later. First and third with 2 down. And the pitch is a called strike to the outside corner. I suppose you could look at Jeremy Sowers as a left-hander out of the bullpen, but I mean, he pitched 5 innings 2 days ago.
Well, and you never know. There's a, Monday, somebody to be determined to make a start. So you have to wait and see. Maybe he's going to, his name will be thrown into that ringer for a chance to start.
He didn't do anything to hurt his chances the other night.
What's today? Today's what, Wednesday? I mean, Zach Jackson started tonight. He went 4 innings, gave up 7 runs. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think these guys meet almost every day to figure out what they're going to do.
In the air, center field. Ben Francisco will make the catch. And the inning is over. So Greg Aquino with 2 scoreless innings under his belt. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning, 12-7 Cleveland. Back here at Progressive Field, we are going to the bottom of the 6th inning, and changes abound for the Tampa Bay Rays. Reed Brignac stays in the game. He'll go to shortstop. Ben Zobrist goes from shortstop to right field. And we've also got a new pitcher.
Yes, we do.
Jason Isringhausen.
Took the loss in, let me think what day it is. Monday night's game. Ended up having a wild streak where he walked half the ballpark, it seemed like. He had a couple of walks.
He said afterwards he just couldn't find the plate. That's a helpless feeling, you know. When
no, this is a guy that was a good closer at one time and knew what it was like to come in with games on the line. And he says, hey, look, I'd rather give up home runs than walk anybody. And he just couldn't throw strikes. And when he did, Victor got that base hit to end that game on Monday night. 14 years in the big leagues, 293 saves. Come on.
Ryan Garco, who is 2 for 2 with 2 singles, a ribby, 2 runs scored. He was hit by pitches last time up. The 0-2 missed inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Any reliever will tell you, and especially late inning guys like closers, the worst thing for them is for the guys that go out there that battle for 8 innings and, you know, expend all that energy for 2.5 hours, and then you come in and screw it all up in 15 minutes. And that's the one thing that those guys all say. You know, you don't want to be the guy that ruins an entire night of work with a bad outing. But it happens. And some guys are strong enough to deal with that and move on and grow from it. And other guys can't. It's very difficult.
You have to move on from it. As they say, you have to have a short memory, you know, because you may be thrown right back into the fire tomorrow night, you know, and a chance. That's what makes baseball such a great game. You know, okay, you had your day, but I mean that during the course of 6 months, that is going to happen a number of times. Sometimes it happens more than, you know, to other people. But trying to stay consistent on an even keel, and, you know, when you're going good, you never get too high, and when you're going down, you never get too down on yourself or down on the team. That's the daily grind of this marathon that these guys play for 6 straight months.
Ben Francisco charges one deep to left. It's over Crawford's head. He's headed for 2. Crawford's throw not in time. And Ben Francisco has his 3rd hit of the night, his second extra base hit.
He's starting to heat it up, Matt. That
It's
ball
his
is just
5th hit in the series.
Jumping off his bat, I'll tell you. There's one there. He stayed back on it and laced it. I mean, that hit off the wall, the bottom part of it. And he was hustling all the way. That's how he got a double right there. So the homer, 4 RBIs, a single, a double. He's a triple away from the cycle.
Jamie Carroll, 2 hits and a walk. He's been on base safely all 3 times. Pitch inside for ball 1.
It's sad when you can start hearing the fans yelling at
the individual
players.
guys.
Yeah, well, that's how it used to be when I played every day.
A liner to second. And Jamie Carroll is out number 2. Willie Ibar went up the ladder to make the grab. Let's go back to the STO studios for another Ford Sports Update.
All right, guys, it's over in Minnesota as the Red Sox in the 9th inning. George Gutierrez strikes out. Joe Nathan the save. Minnesota tops Boston for the 2nd straight night. 4-2 the final this evening. Back to you at Progressive Field.
All right, Al, so that means if the Yankees hold on, they're in a tie for first with the Red Sox atop the Eastern Division standings. And the Yankees were pummeling Texas down in Arlington, so unless something really extraordinary happens, Red Sox Yankees will be deadlocked in the East. And it is a final in Arlington. New York wins at 9-2, so they are 27 and 20.
Well, isn't that
and
funny
the Red
now?
Sox are 27 and 20.
How that works, and the Red Sox have dominated the Yankees so far this year. What have they beaten them 5 or 6 straight times? Amazing.
Well, the Yankees have just been really red hot though in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, A-Rod came back, and everybody seemed to.
And Toronto has, I mean, the bottom has fallen out, and then you got to wonder what their collective psyche is like right now.
Well, going into it, you never thought they were going to be that good anyway because of all the injuries.
Longoria with a terrific play to his left, takes a hit away from Cabrera and saves his team a run. But the Indians still lead at 12-7 as we go to the 7th inning. Baseball on Sports Time Ohio is brought to you by KeyBank. Feel safe at home with the banking home of the Cleveland Indians. By AM/PM, too much good stuff. Downtown Cleveland, where the Indians lead the Tampa Bay Rays 12-7. As we go now to the 7th inning of play here at Progressive Field. And Luis Vizcaíno in relief of Greg Aquino. On for the 5th time this year. He'll face catcher Michel Hernandez, B.J. Upton, and Carl Crawford here in the Rays half of the 7th inning. Tampa Bay is now 0 for their last 10 with a runner in scoring position in this ball game.
They started, what, 4 for 5?
They started out 4 for 5 and now 0 for their last 10. And remember, they came into this game 0 for their last 15,
right.
Got off to a hot start and have really fizzled.
Well, you know, they threw 5 on the board in a hurry in the top half of the first, but I'll tell you, the Indians came right back in the second and responded and haven't looked back.
Hernandez fouls it back over the screen. The Indians are trying to win their 3rd straight game for the first time this year.
And for the 16th time against the Rays in this ballpark.
Yeah, trying to beat them for the 16th straight at home.
That's incredible.
I think the Indians' all-time mark was 27 straight wins over the. Look it up now. Might have been the St. Louis Browns.
You might be right. It goes back that far. Check the strikeout.
History's biggest hit is back. Don't miss a sneak peek of Ice Road Truckers after the bottom of the 7th inning on tonight's game. So coming up here in a little while. Yeah, I don't know where I saw that, Rick. Thought I had it here in my notes. I know I saw it somewhere. But in any event.
It's 27 against St. Louis from 52 to 54.
Okay. Yep. I knew I
there
saw
you
it
go,
somewhere.
my friend.
Yeah.
Yep.
B.J. Upton singled his first time up, grounded out, struck out, and walked since. And strike two called 0-2. Now, obviously, the St. Louis Browns were before my time, but, looking back in the record books, they were pretty bad. I mean, they were, a lot of those years, they were last place teams. But still, to beat somebody 27 straight times at home is.
I mean, you figure you got to have one bad game,
right.
don't you?
If you're the bad team in that series, you catch a break somewhere. You get a well-pitched game on your side. You catch a guy who's not on his game on the other side. But
you would think so.
27 straight.
You would think so.
One ball, two strikes the count. Missed outside. There were some years, I think, where we went to Yankee Stadium and we didn't come home with many wins at all.
That's true. Very few wins, and one or two, but it seemed like when they did win there, it was huge. 22 to nothing
That's
or
a good
something
point.
like that.
He didn't have many wins, but the ones we did, they were something.
Yeah, we won 3 games in one day. A little bit like this year's win, when you come over there and that ridiculous 22-4 game.
Spoiled their opener as well with a big inning. Payoff pitch. Struck him out looking. That's 2 punch outs for Luis Vizcaino. 2 down here in the 7th inning. A new episode of Beer Money debuts tomorrow night at 10:30. This week, Jameer Howerton and Ashley Collins visit Around the Corner in Lakewood and the Captain's Club in Eastlake. Enjoy local sports trivia and test your knowledge on Beer Money. It's tomorrow night at 10:30 only on STO and STO HD. Here is Carl Crawford. 1 for 4 tonight. Looks at a ball inside. You may wonder, here's Carl Crawford with 30 stolen bases on the year. Why isn't he batting leadoff since B.J. Upton's only hitting, $189 coming in? Well, a lot of that has to do with Crawford. He just doesn't like being the leadoff guy. He feels like he's an aggressive hitter, and he said, I don't like the idea of having to take pitches and be patient, which is what you really need to be in that leadoff spot. Well, but you can't change if you're going to be a leadoff hitter. He could still be successful. It's just a matter of and in that leadoff spot, you're only leading off once a game. Leading that game off once. A lot of times what happens, you roll over late in the game, whether it be the 9th inning, and you'll hit for the 5th time. If your offense has a pretty decent night, you're going to get a lot of at-bats. You just can't give away many at-bats. Vizcaino ready with a 2-1 pitch. Out of play, 2-2.
He could be an aggressive hitter and still be a leadoff hitter. Because he's not a guy that I consider that takes a lot of walks or tries to work the count.
I guess it all comes down to, who your manager is and what they expect of you, what their expectations of you are. If you're in the leadoff hitter and all of a sudden they put expectations on you, then that could,
the expectation I put on him: get on base, steal bases, score runs. I don't care how you do. How you do it, you go about it your way.
Grounds it to third. Johnny Peralta fires it over. And a 1-2-3 inning. First time tonight the Rays go in order. And the Indians bullpen with 11 scoreless innings in the series. The 12-7 Indians lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Cleveland. Wow, that young man staying up late
you
tonight.
You know what? Yes, he is. He's waving. He's got the number one. He's got a baseball.
Souvenir.
Good for you. That's what you get for staying this late, young man.
Great.
Now we can go home and go to bed. Well, Dad's had to have his hands full all night, huh? I mean, you figure a 2-hour rain delay. When we're heading into a 3-hour game, and he probably got down here an hour earlier.
Grady Sizemore looks at a ball up high. Grady is 1 for 4 tonight. Doubled in a run back in the 2nd, scored in the 5th. Takes a strike. Sizemore was erased on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning. It was kind of a bizarre play where he blooped one into shallow right center. The ball dropped, but because it was so shallow, Asdrubal Cabrera had only gone halfway, and he was forced at second. But what happened then is Victor Martinez roped a double into the right field corner, and with his speed, Grady was able to score all the way from first base. To third, Longoria flips it over, 1 down.
Well, the Bud Light Party Deck is Progressive Field's best party area. Game tickets start at $40 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet and a fantastic view from the right field location. Heading right down the line, you'll be able to see it. Call 216-420-HITS for full information.
Victor Martinez, the batter. He is 1 out of 4 tonight. Martinez drove in a pair with that hard hit double into the right field corner. And I was going to mention this earlier, but he swung so quickly in the at-bat, didn't get a chance to talk about it. Martinez, for the most part this year, we've seen him hit the ball to all fields, be so patient, let the ball get deep and fight it off the other way. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's really in a pull mode. Is that the product of where you're just starting to get a little bit out of whack offensively from where he had been?
Well, I think it could be. He's been so patient most of the year. I mean, never went 2 games without a hit until we got to where Cincinnati. It happens. You can't stay locked in like that, for a month. And something goes out of whack. Maybe you don't see the ball. Maybe you're a little tired. Maybe something's bothering you. It's tough to maintain that level of consistency, but he does it as good as anybody.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We talked about, Ted Williams doing that for the whole year. Being patient, whether it's, drawing a couple of walks a game and still getting his hits. And now, again, you see a guy go through a little slump like Victor, and it more than amplifies what it takes to hit over 400 for an entire season.
Well, you're not going to do it. You'll never see it again.
It's crazy.
You're never going to see it. You see it for a month. We saw it for 2 months.
2 months.
For the most part. And the last guy I can honestly remember was George Brett.
Sure.
And Rod Carew did it. And they went into August. That's unbelievable.
Rick, if I remember right, didn't Olerud flirt with it?
I'm sure he did.
Might have been the strike year in '94. I know it was.
I'm sure he did because they had 3 batting champs over there in Toronto where they had Robbie Alomar, they had Molitor, and they had Olerud.
Yeah.
So he very well could have. Yes, there was a couple of guys.
I don't think he was, legitimately close, but he was in the conversation of a guy. Hey, he might.
Well, you think about it with Victor, you can't run. He's not going to get an infield hit. He's not going to get a hit offensively with his wheels.
Mm-hmm.
That's just flat out hit, and that's like Rico Carty. Rico Carty could hit. He hit 366 one year in the National League and couldn't run. His wallet was so big in his back pocket, he needed a dump truck to get down the line. But, he could hit. Joe Torre, another one. Couldn't run a lick, and he could.
Big chopper towards first. Pena will go to the bag himself for out number 2. Redbird looked it up real quick. Olerud in 1993 finished at 363.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember right, and Redbird, don't waste a lot of time looking. If I remember right, he needs
something to do. This game's boring.
At one point, fairly late in the season, he was at least in the discussion. Runner at second, 2 down. But, man, you're right. I mean, and that's all of a sudden, that's 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm thinking recently there's always people that break out of the chute and they say, well, here's a Triple Crown candidate. They did it earlier with Longoria, you know. He had the batting average way up there, the home runs and the RBIs. But, boy, that's so hard to do nowadays.
It took him like 30 seconds to look that up, by the way. On August 27th of 93, Olerud was hitting 391.
There you go.
So with just a little...
Mike didn't look it up. He remembered. He just had to turn a page in his brain.
Just a little more than a month ago in the year, he was really flirting with the 400 mark. So,
but here's a guy that was patient and would walk a lot. And he wouldn't get any infield hits or hits with his legs.
In the air to right, Zobrist makes the catch. 7 innings complete from Progressive Field. The Indians lead the Rays 12-7.
Presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Already the 8th inning here at Progressive Field, where the Indians have a 12-7 lead over Tampa Bay. Evan Longoria, Carlos Pena, and Willie Ibar to bat for the Rays. Just a sliver of a moon tonight.
Yeah, that's what we thought, Matt. We were just talking about the guys that were flirting with 400. Todd Helton in the year 2000 hit 372. But August 28th, just before going into the month of September, he was at 397.
Yeah.
So that was just 9 years ago.
Longoria sends a high fly ball to left. Mark DeRosa will make the catch, 1 away. This scoreboard update brought to you by Coors Light. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. You know, if there was going to be a guy to do it, you think about Colorado and the big outfield. To say nothing about the altitude and the ball and all that thing, but just the way that ballpark's configured and the times we've seen it, that would be a ballpark where possibly it could happen.
Boy,
but again,
you know, I don't think anybody's going to hit 400 in a year. I really don't. I don't think it can happen.
Carlos Pena 1 for 4 tonight.
You know, you talk about that. You talk about the hitting streak, 56. I don't think that'll be broken because of the media pressure and people coming up. You'd have to hold a press conference every day and meet with these people. You couldn't go out and play the game.
Well, you remember when Paul Molitor got close.
That was 39.
Look what that did to him.
39 games hitting streak.
Pena sends a sky-high pop, but this will be back out of play.
When you're dealing with 400, it's every day, all year long. And it's got to really wear on you. You'd have to be isolated in a box and stay away from everybody. And you can't do it.
It would take a player with the mentality of a Manny Ramirez, to maybe be able to pull it off.
Who doesn't care? He just laughs at everything.
The 1-1 pitch to Pena.
When I say he doesn't care, I'm talking about mentally. It just if you strike out, I don't care.
Yeah, I
hit
remember
a home run. I don't care. It's
Travis
good.
Fryman said once, Manny has the perfect mentality to play this game because if something bad happens or he makes a mistake, the minute it's over, it's gone. He doesn't think about it, doesn't let it bother him. It's over. He said, Travis said, I would go home. I wouldn't sleep all night. I'd be staring at the ceiling, thinking about that mistake. Whereas with Manny, it's gone. Moving on to the next thing. Just missed inside. That was a pretty good-looking pitch, 2-2. Vizcaino set him down 1-2-3 in the 7th.
Just thinking about Manny. When he was playing here one time, he ended up stealing a base. Okay, took off, running to second base, stealing the base. The guy at second base telling him foul ball. Manny started to go back to first.
I remember that. They take him out. Yeah.
He had to laugh. He was laughing.
Mike Hargrove wasn't laughing.
No, but it was
down.
funny. Friday night, Yankees come to town for their only visit this year, and it'll be a fireworks spectacular. And it'll all be set to 70s music. So come on out. Visit an Indians team shop or a Progressive Field box office for your tickets.
The clock strikes 12.
I told you it'd be a night-day doubleheader.
Willie Ibar steps in, 1 for...
That was Brian just setting
tonight.
his alarm clock for tomorrow.
In 5 minutes, we'll be 12 hours from game time tomorrow. The 0-1. Down too low. One ball and 1 strike, and the pitch is fouled away. So far in this series, the Rays have scored 17 runs in innings 1 through 4. And from the 5th inning on, they've scored a grand total of 1.
Well, that goes hand in hand with what the Cleveland bullpen has done.
Well,
Monday night, 6 innings of no runs. Last night, 2 innings, no runs. Tonight, this could be the 4th inning of no runs. So you got to tip your cap. The bullpen's done a nice job.
Vizcaino thought he had a strikeout there, didn't get the call. So with 2 down and the base is empty, the 2-2 pitch coming up. And that looked pretty good. Now it's a full count. Maybe a little bit low. Maybe the birds are distracting Tim Welke. Here's the payoff pitch. He slashes it foul down the left side. This is like old Exhibition Stadium in Toronto.
Yeah, that's true. That's where all the goals used to be. You got that right. I mean, we're getting invaded. Well, you know what? We're probably into their time. They're normally eating here at midnight.
Coming in Francisco, and the ball's going to drop and scatter the birds. And it's going to be a 2-out single for Willie Ibar. And a little frustrating for Luis Vizcaino because he thought he had him struck out a couple of times.
Look at, there's the birds on the ground. I'm telling you, they're in the air. And it is going to land. I almost had a birdie there. So it goes in as a base hit. 11 hits now for the Rays. When I was in Milwaukee one time playing center field, there was a fly ball that went up and it hit a bird. And it changed the direction of the ball.
That's out of play.
And it came in. I ended up catching the ball. And as I caught it, I looked down. It was out. The bird circled around behind me, went down, and there was a feather stuck coming out of the baseball.
No, there was not.
I swear to God, it was on This Week in Baseball. I swear to God. The hitter was Ricky Henderson with Oakland, and there was guys on base. And I mean, a bird dove at the ball like it was some bug. Yeah, really, that's a true story.
1-1 the count.
It was on This Week in Baseball. They did have TV back when I played, so it was on This Week in Baseball one time.
Occasionally they had TV when you played.
Yeah, once a month.
The 1-1. Strike called on the outside corner. That's kind of a big deal in the 70s to be on TV, whether it was a national game or even a local game for that matter.
Well, it's so much different now. Every game's televised. Back then, they used to have the game of the week for the most part. And if you were in a local market like the Indians or a smaller market, they may show 40 games a year.
Struck him out looking. Vizcaino gets his third strikeout. And the Indians' bullpen has posted 12 scoreless innings in the series. The Terrace Club.
That was at 5 o'clock dinner time.
Yeah, if they're still crushing food like that right now, I might want to go up there. Ground ball to second. Willie Ibar throws out Mark DeRosa, 1 down. Let's check out the results of the Alltel Text Poll question of the game. 37% of you took the bait of the former Indian Danny Baez, but it was Seth McClung who absolutely dominated the Indians in that last Rays win here at Progressive Field. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, he pitched that game. It was one of the best games I've seen pitched against the Indians. He was just terrific. Dale Thayer for the 3rd time this year, 2nd time in the series. Garco checks on a ball down low. Ryan tonight is 2 for 3. 2 runs scored and a run batted in. Taps it by the mound. Ibar with the flip, 2 down. That'll bring up Ben Francisco. It was Francisco who really got the Indians rolling tonight. In the second inning, with the Tribe down 5-0, with 1 out in the inning, there was a walk, an infield single, and then Ryan Garco had an infield single that hit the bag at second base to drive in a run. And then Francisco stepped up and hit a 3-run homer to left field, and suddenly it was a 4-run inning, and the Indians, down 5, were right back in the game. They would come back and score another run before the inning was over to tie the game. Tampa would briefly go back ahead in the top half of the third, but the Indians would score 3 in the bottom of the third and then never look back tonight, scoring 4 more in the 5th to take command. And the Indians' bullpen again is doing a terrific job in this series.
Well, Benny's just a triple away from the cycle. This is not a good triples park, by the way.
We've had a triple in the game.
Yes, we have.
Ben
Mr.
Zobrist
Zobrist
hit one to right center field. Two fouled away. Cabrera with a couple of hits. Everybody's had a hand in it, but it's the bottom third that has done a lot of the damage. 7 hits combined.
7 for 11, rolling the dice.
Evan Longoria from his position at third throws out Francisco. And we will go to the 9th. 12-7 Tribe. The Indians lead the Rays 12-7. Ben Francisco shifts over to left field, and Trevor Crowe is now into the ball game in center field. Crowe was just recalled from AAA. And back here in the big leagues on the field for the first time since getting called back. A little late inning defensive replacement. Gabe Gross came on in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter and walked in his only plate appearance. Vizcaino with his 3rd inning of relief work.
Yeah, if he gets through this inning and completes it, he ends up getting a save in this ball game because he worked 3 innings. But you got to get the 3 outs first.
And this will be his 35th pitch coming up right here. Backhanded at third by Peralta. Good throw on the money. Got him one away. Let's get our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC performance of the game. Ben Francisco with 3 hits and 5 at-bats. Drove in 4. And is he having some kind of career against Andy Sonnenstein?
Oh, yeah. I don't think Andy wants to look at those numbers, but I'll tell you, you can't get Benny out. He's having a nice year against the Rays.
Here's Reed Brignac, fly to center in his only at-bat.
Indians looking for that 3rd straight win for the very first time this year.
Ball ended up over by the Rays dugout, and the barrel ended up at second base.
Hard to believe, isn't it? It's almost June 1st.
Yeah. Indians with a win would move to 20-28 on the year. They still have a lot of work to do, but one foot in front of the other, as you said earlier.
That's really how you take it.
Swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. I mean, you can't win 10 in a row in a day. You've got to just consistently try to play good baseball.
Keep everything simple, man. I mean, stay within the moment, seize that moment, and play well as a team. That's all you can do. Pick each other up.
Swing and a miss. And a strikeout for Vizcaino, his 4th tonight.
He's had a very good breaking ball tonight, I'll tell you that. He's had a great slider. It's been sharp. He's had a couple pitches that were so good, I think they were called balls because they were late break.
And what Eric Wedge has been able to do tonight, with Zach Jackson only going the 4 innings out of the gate, with 2 innings from Aquino and now possibly 3 from Vizcaino to finish it off, you've saved at least the bulk of your bullpen now to have available for tomorrow's game.
Well, and you got to take into consideration the game's starting in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So Vizcaino was done anyway. He wouldn't have been able to pitch after 2 innings.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So you might as well just let him go out there with a 5-run lead, get your last 3 outs, and if he can get them, that really does help your bullpen for tomorrow's day game.
The 0-1. Popped him up.
And he did it.
Center field, Trevor Crowe is there. And the Indians have won 3 in a row for the first time this year as they come back from a 5-run first inning deficit to win it 12-7. And Greg Aquino gets the win for the Indians tonight. It's his first victory. And the save goes to Vizcaino, and that's his first. So a couple of firsts for the Tribe. And for Tampa, the loss goes to Andy.